Travel with Catholic Communications in August 2022 for the pilgrimage of a lifetime as we experience the famous Oberammergau Passion Play. Join pilgrimage leader Father Gary Daly for the spiritual journey to Germany and the village of Oberammergau, where since 1634 the Passion Play has been presented every 10 years in this quaint alpine village. Our 10-day pilgrimage from August 4th to the 14th will begin in Brussels, Belgium, and continue through Cologne, Heidelberg, Oberammergau, and Munich, Germany. With breakfasts and dinners included, pilgrims will enjoy daily Mass in many of Germany's brilliant cathedrals and churches, a cruise on the Rhine River, a visit to the Schönstatt Pilgrimage Shrine, dedicated to the Blessed Virgin, and to Munich's famous Glockenspiel. Book this incredible pilgrimage now for $5,439. For more information, go to iobserve.org.
Coming up on this edition of Reel to Reel.
Abortion survivor Melissa Oden shares her incredible story of hope. I'm Carolee McGrath. I'll have the story coming up.
A Greenfield parish sets up a new food pantry serving the hungry in Franklin County. And a look at an incredible season for the Pope Francis girls soccer team. These stories are coming your way next on Reel to Reel. Hello and welcome to Reel to Reel. Helping our youth develop a faith relationship with God is a key mission for our Catholic Church. Here in our diocese, there's literally a new revolution for our youth now being offered. Nick Morganelli shows us how, taking us to one of the many new Youth Revolution retreats being offered this fall.
Youth Revolution coming fall 2021.
Catholic teens across the Springfield Diocese are becoming part of a revolution. Youth Revolution.
We chose the name Youth Revolution because it's revolutionary to choose Christ. When you're faced with so many different things you can choose to do in your life and to pursue and to subscribe to, and your perspective and your worldviews, and you choose Christ, that's revolutionary.
Joe Austin, the new director of youth ministry for the diocese, brought his team to Our Lady of the Blessed Sacrament in Westfield for one of 8 retreats happening this fall. The parish's music ministry, Psalm 33, led worship in song.
Youth Revolution is really a 3-part program. So this is just the first part, and then it will end with a youth summit.
Father David Alfiero met Joe a year ago and were part of a men's Bible study group together where the name was developed for this new diocesan initiative.
He was also coordinating with different people, different youth ministers throughout the country, folks that he knew, and he did a lot of research and found information, found this idea of youth revolution and had a vision for a regional model for youth ministry and for confirmation retreats in the diocese.
Weather cooperating to give us a perfect fall day for one of the highlights of the retreat, outdoor confession and adoration.
It's completely worth it. I mean, they're not judgmental at all. Like, they've heard it a million times before. So, like, you know, it feels like completely natural.
With several priests in attendance, my youngest son, Lucas, who will be confirmed next year, was blessed to receive the sacrament of reconciliation.
You feel a lot lighter, like you just got a lot off of your chest. For me, it felt that way, and it usually feels that way, like when you're sincere.
Small group sharing gave youth the opportunity to grow in their faith and ask questions.
It's really essential to the retreat experience to have these small groups grow together because, as we know, the church is a community and it starts, at a young age, and you got to keep growing from there.
Annika, you've got your support group here.
Yeah.
How's this day been so far?
It's been pretty good. This was my first retreat, so it was really cool to be able to come out here with kids my age and just experience it with everyone else. By the end, our small group got pretty close, so it was kind of nice to be able to have open discussions by the end, feeling comfortable with everyone. So that was really great, just being able to have a group leader there and talk about how we all were feeling about the day.
After the talks, we really got to connect with our small groups and just kind of go over everything with each other and reflect on what we just learned.
There was also time for each youth to personally bring their petitions to Christ before the Blessed Sacrament.
Every retreat is based on a question, and the question is, do you have a relationship with Jesus? We hope that the students will then bring that question to the front, to the monstrance and adoration, present it to Jesus and say, this is what I believe.
Alex led some of his group in prayer.
We prayed this prayer of abandonment, and that's just basically, saying that we want to hand our life, we want to hand all our worries, all our concerns, everything over to Jesus, and just let His will be done. And it's a very strong and important prayer.
So don't sit there and believe the lie that you don't have something for Jesus, that you're not, empowered by His grace, empowered by His Holy Spirit, that you too are not a beloved child of God. Don't sit there and believe that lie, because God came specifically for you.
Father Alfiero shared the invitation to a personal relationship with Jesus through stories and biblical teaching.
God calls us all to a relationship with Himself, despite our past failings, our past wrongdoings, whatever hindrances we have to that relationship. God nevertheless sees past all the trouble that we think that we have, and that He sees past it and calls us to Himself, and calls us to greater things, and helps us to realize that we're made for more, made for relationship, and we can achieve those great things that He calls us to through a relationship with Christ.
Witnessing the revolution for Real to Real, I'm Nick Morganelli.
For more information on the retreats and youth initiatives, visit diospringfield.org for a link to our Diocesan Youth Ministry page. In other news, the Mass Citizens for Life Mother's Day dinner, which had been postponed last May, was held recently at the Log Cabin in Holyoke. Abortion survivor Melissa Oden shared her incredible story. I had the opportunity to hear her moving talk as the MC of the event, and Carolyn McGrath was also there and filed this report.
Ordinary people just like you and me, who by the grace of God are doing extraordinary things.
Abortion survivor Melissa Oden commended those gathered at the Log Cabin in Holyoke for standing for life. Oden, who survived a saline infusion abortion, was the keynote speaker at the rescheduled Mass Citizens for Life Mother's Day dinner. She explained how she was born alive and left to die.
I am here certainly by the grace of God. 44 years ago, my biological mother, as a college student, had an abortion forced upon her by her family.
About 150 people attended the dinner. Oden told the crowd that her maternal grandmother was a prominent nurse at the hospital where the abortion attempt took place.
We know of at least one nurse in particular who intervened to save my life. We know through my medical records that I was laid aside for a period of time. Within about 5 minutes, I was nearly dead. And we now know from another nurse who reached out to me after my first book was published that a tall blonde nurse was unwilling to just leave me to die like my grandmother had directed them to. And she whisked me off to the NICU, and that's certainly why I'm here tonight.
Oden, a national pro-life speaker who testified before Congress, is the founder of the Abortion Survivors Network. She says 403 abortion survivors have come forward publicly, but she says there are thousands of others who have similar stories.
We know statistically that there are tens of thousands of people like me, and that comes from the Centers for Disease Control themselves. They admitted even back in 1981 they were estimating 400 to 500 live births a year after failed abortions. After 49 years, that number is encroaching 20,000.
Oden, who entered the Catholic Church in 2014, has since reconciled with her birth mother, who never knew she survived.
I think we have to really educate people because people are so uneducated on this issue, and our culture buries the narrative of anyone whose story doesn't fit theirs. So I think education is important, and I do want to see people encouraged and inspired to fight. I think that's why God gave me this life, is not just to fight, but to encourage and inspire other people to do the same thing. And I do want to see lives saved, both federally and at the state level. Unfortunately, until we embrace a culture of life, we need to have laws to protect lives like mine.
Last December, Massachusetts lawmakers passed the Roe Act, which expanded abortion through the 9th month of pregnancy in Massachusetts. According to the Massachusetts Catholic Conference, the abortion expansion legislation allows abortion after 24 weeks of pregnancy for certain circumstances, including a lethal fetal anomaly and to preserve a woman's physical or mental health. In addition, under the Roe Act, a doctor is no longer required to provide medical care to a baby who survives an abortion. Currently, there is an effort underway to ensure that babies born alive after an abortion attempt are given proper life-saving medical care. The Born Alive Petition Act needs more than 80,000 signatures by November 17th in order to move forward in the legislative process. Dr. John Diggs, a primary care physician from Wilbraham, has been involved in the pro-life movement for many years. A lot of times people will say this is health care.
Well, first of all, if your patient ends up dead, you can't very well call it health care, especially if that was your intent. And with so many things related to abortion, there's always one person who's wounded at the end and one person who's dead.
Deacon Michael Forrest of Christ the King Parish in Ludlow also addressed the crowd. Deacon Forrest was recently elected to the board of MCFL.
The truth about the humanity of the unborn child has been hidden by the media, and it's important that if we don't stand up and speak out for them, nobody else is going to do it. So especially in a place like this, I think it's important that we all boldly speak out with love, of course, but never shy away from speaking the truth, because many people don't know.
Catholic Communications' Sharon Rulier was the MC for the dinner. Odin and her husband Ryan have been married for 16 years and have 2 girls. Odin wrote the book, You Carried Me, which details her incredible story and her search for her birth parents. Reporting for Reel to Reel in Holyoke, I'm Carolee McGrath.
What a compelling speaker. And there's still much more ahead on Reel to Reel. Feeding the less fortunate. Parishioners in Franklin County are reaching out to the hungry with a new food pantry. And setting records. Steve Kiltonic has the story of a very successful girls' soccer season for Pope Francis Prep. These stories and more still to come on Reel to Reel.
Like Catholic TV on Facebook. Once you're there, you can join in on discussions, make friends with other Catholic TV fans, watch behind-the-scenes videos from the studio, and stay up to date with the Catholic world. All this at facebook.com/CatholicTV.
Hi, Mom. What are you doing today?
Providence Place, owned by the Sisters of Providence, an ideal rental setting for retirees to continue their active, independent lifestyles. We have bright 1- and 2-bedroom apartments, a magnificent chapel with daily mass, restaurant-style dining, and wellness and entertainment programs. Call for a tour, 413-534-9700.
Mom, call me when you're not so busy.
Travel with Catholic Communications in August 2022 for the pilgrimage of a lifetime as we experience the famous Oberammergau Passion Play. Join pilgrimage leader Father Gary Daly for the spiritual journey to Germany and the village of Oberammergau, where since 1634 the Passion Play has been presented every 10 years in this quaint alpine village. Our 10-day pilgrimage from August 4th to the 14th will begin in Brussels, Belgium, and continue through Cologne, Heidelberg, Oberammergau, and Munich, Germany. With breakfasts and dinners included, pilgrims will enjoy daily Mass in many of Germany's brilliant cathedrals and churches, a cruise on the Rhine River, a visit to the Schönstatt pilgrimage shrine, dedicated to the Blessed Virgin, and to Munich's famous Glockenspiel. Book this incredible pilgrimage now for $5,439. For more information, go to iobserve.org.
Sacred art can save the world. This from an Irish sculptor now making his home in Virginia with a mission to resurrect the Christian tradition in the visual arts. We learn more now in this report from Catholic News Service.
I'm Donny McManus. I'm a sculptor from Dublin, and I've just settled here in Falls Church. I went to art school in Dublin, where I was promptly kicked out of the art department for being too figurative, representational in my art, and too Catholic. As I see, there's a crisis in our culture in the West right now, and I see the solution is to go to the core of our culture, which is Christ. My calling, I suppose my vocation as an artist is to resurrect the Christian tradition in the visual arts. Why I produce sacred art logically comes from the overflow of my interior life. So if all art is the overflow of the interior life of the artist, if my interior life is steeped in the liturgy, in attending Mass daily or praying in the church daily, scriptures, the lives of the saints and so on, then that interior life will overflow in my work. If we resurrect the liturgy, that will give direction to our culture and save our culture moving forward. So essentially, in order to save the world, we need to save the liturgy. And as Dostoevsky says, beauty will save the world. So if we put those two truisms together, beauty will save the world, liturgy will save the world, well then liturgical art is core.
When the Take and Eat program at Blessed Sacrament Parish in Greenfield was discontinued due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Deacon John Leary approached the Western Mass Food Bank to create an expanded drive-through grocery program offering free bags of food. With a brand new parish center for their use, parishioners said it was time to share their good fortune with those in need. David Martin brings us the story.
The food pantry at Blessed Sacrament Parish in Greenfield continues to grow thanks to donations from the Western Mass Food Bank and parishioners. Deacon John Leary is pleased the needy can visit the church and choose their own groceries, thus fighting hunger and poverty in the community.
Now we have a reinvigoration of what's going on around here. We're going to take advantage of that. And we're going to move in a different direction, in a positive direction, so that people feel the love of Jesus Christ through the Catholic community of Greenfield here in Franklin County.
Those welcomed into the food pantry are allowed to take whatever amount they wish. The parish hopes to offer love, dignity, and respect to those in need in the Greenfield community. Deacon Leary explained that during the COVID-19 pandemic, there are no restrictions from the federal government for quantities of groceries available or the income levels of those who benefit. Since the parish center includes a refrigerator and freezer, they can offer produce, dairy, and meat products.
But this is something that I know that's going to take off in such a way that maybe we're going to be able to transform what people think and what people do about food pantries.
Deacon Leary's wife, Donna, is approached by people asking what food is needed each week, depending on provisions received from the Western Mass Food Bank. Parishioners drop off donations during Mass, and she will sort and stack them on shelves. She observes the economic desperation people are going through during these difficult times.
And you get to know more about the people of the community and what they need. And me, I work more in the pantry itself and giving out food to the community. So I see the people and I can tell who needs what.
Donna, a religious education teacher at Blessed Sacrament, trains volunteers to be more sensitive to those who visit the food pantry. Only one group or family is allowed in at a time. Kristen Henry, a Greenfield Community College student who has economic troubles, is grateful for the volunteers who are available to help the needy in this process.
So that if they come here on the days that they're open, they can get things to feed them family or their neighbors if their neighbors come too, and they can spread the words that people at least have access to food.
The hours of operation are Saturday 9 a.m. until noon, Tuesday noon until 3 p.m., and Thursday 3 to 6 p.m. Deacon Leary reminded that Springfield Bishop William Byrne has called for a year of the Eucharist, so catering to people from all different backgrounds is like becoming more Christ-like when consuming the Eucharist at Mass.
I need to do what Jesus would do. I need to reach out to everyone, not just believers, not just Catholics, not just people that think like me, not just people that look like me, not just people that believe like me. Everyone is welcome here.
As a pro-life parish, Deacon Leary wants the Blessed Sacrament Food Pantry to protect life beyond the womb, offering diapers, baby formula, and infant clothing for struggling new mothers. He also plans to create a website where the homebound make selections from a menu emailed to drivers who make home deliveries. For Real to Real, I'm David Martin.
Deacon Leary said if anyone knows of a family in crisis, they can contact him through his Facebook page or call the parish offices at 413-773-3311. Someone will be available to address that need. A few weeks ago, we reported on Pope Francis Prep's golf team and its tremendously successful season. Well, they're not the only Cardinal sports team exceeding expectations this fall. The Pope Francis girls soccer team also set records this season. Steve Kiltonic reports.
This fall, the Pope Francis girls soccer team enjoyed its best season in many years. The Cardinals won its conference for the first time ever with a 15-1-2 record and qualified for both the Western Mass and the statewide tournaments, also first. This is Keith Messier's third year as head coach.
Our goals for this year were to challenge to win our conference, to make the playoffs, and with a little bit of luck and a little bit of hope and a little bit of faith, maybe make a good playoff run.
Messier has attempted to foster a winning attitude and inject enthusiasm into the program, which previously suffered through consistent losing seasons.
Ladies, are you ready?
Yes!
Who are we?
Roll!
Who are we?
Roll! Rumble by three! 1, 2, 3, rumble!
And we've gone from 19 kids coming to tryouts to in the 40s. We've established a JV program. We had one last year, we have one again this year, and we can't be more happy with the results we've had so far.
The positive atmosphere Messier has developed goes beyond winning.
We don't look at it as a team, we look at it as a family. So our job is to promote sportsmanship, competition, and more importantly, Pope Francis. And let's get Pope Francis to be the school that everybody's talking about.
A big reason for the Cardinals' success this year is striker Isabella Meadows. The sophomore has been at the top of the scoring leaderboard for Western Mass players from all 5 divisions. Her point total for this season is mind-boggling, 60 points on 47 goals and 13 assists. As Meadows goes through her warm-up drills in preparation for the game against rival St. Mary of Westfield, Messier said she's in a league of her own.
Bella is a fantastic striker. She finishes the ball well, she sniffs where the goal is, and she's right on target with her shots. We saw that when she came here as a freshman. We saw that potential, and the rest of the team has all worked hard together to embrace everybody's strengths and everybody's weaknesses.
Meadows' record-setting pace is impressive, as last year's COVID-19 season was a wash. With 2 full seasons left, she's already passed the halfway mark in pursuit of the elusive 100-point career milestone.
I thought that I was going to score a good amount of goals, but I didn't think that I was going to score this amount of goals. And it definitely helped from the team that I had because we grew throughout the last 2 years that we've been together. They do look towards me, but we do work off each other, and we look towards each other for different things.
When asked what she thought were her best qualities on the field, Isabella replied,
Probably my aggressiveness towards the ball because I pressure a lot and I support off the ball too.
In the first game between the Catholic schools, Pope Francis won in a blowout 7-1. Since then, the Saints pushed the Cardinals as the second best team in the division.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Pray for us.
The Saints countered with a 1-2 punch of their own, the Goudreau sisters, senior Allie, number 20, and sophomore Emma, number 14. Unlike the first game, this is a defensive, physical battle. In the first half, Isabella scored on a header off a corner kick that put the Cardinals up by 1. Just before the half, she scored again on a penalty kick, burying this laser shot from way outside to make it 2-0. St. Mary had its chances in the second half, but wasn't able to capitalize off goalie Sophia Roselli, and it ended with a shutout for the Cardinals. 2 weeks later, it's senior night, and all the graduating players were honored with flowers and a family photo. The Cardinals hope to seal the division title against Smith Academy. Meadows again led her team, scoring 3 goals, and it was an easy 6-1 victory.
You can't score without work ethic. And when you watch Bella out there, her tenacity to win the ball and go to goal is unmatched and unrivaled. And to have that, that's special.
Pope Francis currently plays in Division 4. Its only loss during the regular season was to Division I and Western Mass champion East Longmeadow.
I think that when we had our first glimpse of our team last year, I knew that we were going to progress, and this year we definitely have a strong team, and we're all blessed to have each other on the field.
Isabella also has high praise for her coach.
He definitely opened up my mindset towards different things on the field, and he's helped me through a lot, and he definitely helps our girls.
Messier's goal is to play with the best in Western Mass, regardless of the division. That means next year the road to the States may be more difficult and the goals harder to come by.
But that just means that we're getting better as a team, playing higher level competition, and trying to reach our overall goal, which is to become a Division II or a Division I program. Anything we can do to challenge ourselves to become better, that's what it's all about. And these are moments that the girls are going to remember for the rest of their lives.
The Cardinals entered the Western Mass Class B tournament seeded 6th. In their quarterfinal game against Hampshire, the Cardinals tied 3-3 and battled through 2 scoreless overtime periods before losing on penalty kicks. Meadows scored the 3 goals. Going into the new state tournament, Pope Francis was seeded 14th out of 35 teams. Last Saturday on the Cardinals' home turf, they beat number 19 Manchester Essex 2-0. On Wednesday, the Cardinals' storybook season continued with an upset win over third-ranked Littleton. Messier said 2021 was a magical year, a magical season. The Pope Francis Cardinals hope that same magic carries on into 2022. For Real to Real, I'm Steve Kiltonic.
Congratulations to the team for an outstanding season. And with the nucleus of the team set to return next year, the future does look bright for girls soccer at Pope Francis. And for this week, that's Real to Real. Thanks so much for watching today. Be sure to follow the latest news of the Catholic Church, both here in the Diocese of Springfield and around the world on our news and information site, iobserve.org, and also on Facebook at Catholic Communications, where the online novena to St. Joseph can be found. I will see you right back here next week for Real to Real, your window on the world around you. See you then.
Real to Real is a production of the Catholic Communications Corporation, funded in part by the annual Catholic Appeal, and the support of you, our faithful viewers.
Hi, Mom. What are you doing today?
Providence Place, owned by the Sisters of Providence, an ideal rental setting for retirees to continue their active, independent lifestyles. We have bright 1- and 2-bedroom apartments, a magnificent chapel with daily mass, restaurant-style dining, and wellness and entertainment programs. Call for a tour, 413-534-9700.
Mom, call me when you're not so busy.